Bonsoir et bienvenue tout le monde. Welcome to the council meeting of Monday, January 21st, 2019. Tout le monde est vraiment bienvenu. On est ici ce soir avec notre co-city manager, Jonathan Schechter, at the far right, councilors Sabag, Cohen, Kovac, myself, the mayor, Mitchell Brownstein, conseiller Dita Burko, conseiller Erdely, conseiller Benizri, conseiller Kajavski, le gérant de la ville, Tanya Abramovich, l'assistante gérant de la ville, Nadia DeFuria, and merci tout le monde pour être avec nous ce soir. On a quelques présentations et on va commencer avec l'une qui est le plus important ce soir. On a le chef Rick Liebman et Simon Limonge des stations 27 et 78 qui ont avec nous ce soir. La ville de Côte Saint-Luc rend hommage aux pompiers de Montréal qui ont sauvé 2 travailleurs d'une tour d'habitation en novembre dernier. On the morning of November the 8th, 2018, 2 workers were stranded on the side of a high-rise at 5470 Cavendish Blvd, following the partial collapse of their scaffolding. The firefighters rescued the workers, secured the area, and removed the scaffolding. Les pompiers qui seront honorés ce soir de Station 27 sont le lieutenant Sébastien Trompe, pompier Patrick Tremblay, pompier Maxime Boucher, pompier Nicolas Saint-Ange et de Station 78, capitaine Patrick Forgette, pompier Jean-Michel Lachance, pompier Jérémy Bernier-Boudour, pompier Dave Donahue, pompier Marc-Olivier Bouchard, pompier François Rayum. We know that they'll be modest and tell us that it was part of their job, but we know also that votre travail, c'est pas facile, c'est dangereux et c'est très important pour la ville de Côte Saint-Luc d'avoir des personnes comme vous qui sont là pour nous dans des circonstances d'urgence et dangereux et vous êtes là toujours et votre vie est en danger. Quand vous faites des choses comme vous avez fait pour des 2 personnes qui ont été là ce jour. Et on va voir brièvement une vidéo de ce qui s'est passé ce jour et votre travail extrêmement incroyable. Merci. Maintenant, j'ai 2 certificats que je veux présenter à chaque station et avec toutes les personnes qui sont ici aujourd'hui, ce soir. Maintenant, je vais vous demander de venir pour la présentation des certificats. Tout le monde qui est ici, venir avec nous pour la présentation. And we'll take a picture. Daryl and councils, please join us.
Intervenants qui sont intervenus cette journée-là et un merci aussi à la ville de Côte Saint-Luc, le maire Brownstein et le conseil de la ville et M. Ryerson pour reconnaître votre travail. Big thank you to the city of Côte Saint-Luc, to the mayor Brownstein and all of the council and Jordy Ryerson for recognizing the work that's done. C'est une intervention spectaculaire qui a attiré beaucoup d'attention médiatique, mais vous intervenez à tous les jours à des interventions qui font la différence dans la vie des gens. Et ce n'est pas toujours télévisé. Vous avez à peu près 2300 collègues, confrères aussi, qui interviennent dans la vie des gens sur toute l'agglomération de Montréal. Et donc, on vous dit merci de la part de la direction du service également pour le travail que vous faites. The work that these gentlemen do and their 2,300 colleagues all over the city, a lot of times in incidents that are less spectacular and not televised, but just as important in people's lives. So thank you. Merci beaucoup.
Mr. Mayor, because the firefighters are on duty at this moment, we dismiss them to go back to their
100%. We want you out there doing your job. Merci, merci. Okay, so now, as it is 2019 and we haven't met since 2018, some people are not on social media and might not have seen our year in review. It's a 7-minute video. Very proud of some of the things that we did. So Darryl, you could play that and then we'll move on to the next thing. Thank you. With a few more days to go until the end of 2018, I wanted to present this brief summary of the year gone by. It was a big year for culture. The city inaugurated Leonard Cohen Lane and a new sculpture behind the library by Dr. Harry Rosen. Sadly, Dr. Rosen passed away this fall, but I had the privilege to interview him this summer about his art and encourage you to watch it, as well as his speech at the inauguration of the sculpture. Also in 2018, the Côte Saint-Luc Dramatic Society performed Joseph in the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat in May, and this fall it won the Meadow Award for Outstanding Community Theatre Production. The Dramatic Society also put on Grandma Mia, which was the senior summer workshop production. There were many more interesting events during the year, like the Creative Social Center Art Exhibit, the 4th Annual Community Artist Celebration, and even a visit to our day camp by former professional wrestling legend Jacques Rougeau. Our 2018 Canada Day attracted more than 5,000 at Trudeau Park. It was there that we added Canadian civil rights pioneer Viola Desmond to the Human Rights Walkway. En novembre, nous avons tenu une commémoration touchant du jour de souvenir à l'Hôtel de Ville, à laquelle on a participé des élèves des écoles locales. Nous avons également marqué le jour de souvenir de l'Holocauste ainsi que les anniversaires de soulèvement de ghetto de Varsovie et de Kristallnacht. While we remembered these events, we were reminded that tragedies aren't only found in history books. The attack at Pittsburgh Synagogue in October was deeply unsettling for good people everywhere. The one bright spot was the way people in Pittsburgh came together in the aftermath of this tragedy. Our community, which is very similar to that of Squirrel Hill, Pittsburgh, felt their pain. Their community had, and we came together. Mais nous oublions jamais la chance que nous avons au Québec et au Canada, que lorsque la communauté s'est réunie dans une synagogue de Côte Saint-Luc, c'était en présence de vice-première ministre de Québec, d'une ministre fédérale, de députés fédéraux, de membres de l'Assemblée nationale, de maires et de conseillers, tout protégés par la police. I thought of this when I was in Ottawa this December for the lighting of the Hanukkah menorah. The Prime Minister of Canada was there to celebrate, but so too were the opposition leaders. This should give all Canadians reason for hope. New buildings opened and are in the process of being built for seniors and those in need, including Chateau B'nai B'rith, which I had the pleasure of touring while it was under construction, and Kahila Caldwell Residence, CJA. During the intense week-long heatwave around Canada Day, we opened pools, the arena, and extended library hours. En septembre, nous avons entrepris d'importantes rénovations à la piscine Park Haven. Nous avons réparé 13 conduits d'eau souterrains et 21 conduits d'égout. Nous avons fait une étude majeure de nos 140 kilomètres de trottoirs pour mieux planifier les réparations dans les années à venir. Nous avons également apporté des améliorations à des parcs plus petits, réparé le trottoir devant l'hôtel de ville et ajouté un nouveau tableau d'affichage au terrain Gary Carter. In 2019, we are making major renovations to the Samuel Moskowitz Arena, adding refrigeration to the ice surface at the Confederation Annex, and beginning work on a major renovation at Kerwin Park. We're always evolving. This summer, we changed our bylaw to allow dogs on leashes in most parks. You can see the full list in the Inside Out newsletter sent to all homes in December or on our website. Another bylaw change came into effect on November 1st to allow temporary car shelters or tempos in most areas of the city. Visit CôteSaintLuc.org, tempos, to see if they are allowed or not on your street. If they are not, then look for a survey in the mail in January. We're looking to get feedback from residents of single-family homes in areas where tempos are still not allowed to see if there is a desire to allow them. In the public engagement area, it was a big year. Our city council meetings are now video recorded. We held a public consultation meeting on tempos and public information sessions on the legalization and regulation of cannabis, an update for residents on the forested area behind Ashkelon Garden, and information for residents of District 1 on a new proposed residential development project. We've also revived the Library and Culture Committee, created a youth advisory group, a senior advisory group, the Aging Well Effectively group, and the Dog Owners Committee. We're always adding new programs, and 2018 saw the launch of the Create Space at the library, memory kits for Alzheimer's and dementia patients, and the new STEAM programming for children and teens. In response to calls for safer driving in our community, we launched the Please Slow Down lawn sign campaign. You can find a complete list of what was new in Côte Saint-Luc in Inside Out newsletter sent to all homes in December. In October, we put on the annual Volunteer Appreciation Evening where we honored 17 outstanding people, and all year long we selected our Employees of the Month for outstanding service. One of my favorite jobs is meeting staff on a one-to-one basis at Muffins with the Mayor. It's a chance to visit the folks who work on the front lines and behind the scenes in a relaxed setting. I always tell them how important it is to enjoy what you do. This is very important to me. It makes for a better workplace, and it helps improve customer service too. It's why I instituted an Employee of the Month program, send birthday cards to all staff, and participate in their holiday parties. We want to be an employer of choice and continue to show our appreciation to our blues, whites, professionals, and management team, creating a family environment that extends to our residents, whom our staff are always ready to serve beyond the call of duty. As you may have heard, Côte Saint-Luc is a finalist in the Federal Government Smart Cities Challenge. Over the next few months, we will be putting the final touches on our proposal for how we can help seniors living alone live longer in their own homes through the use of smart technologies. If we win, we will receive $10 million to implement our plan. This is so exciting, and I am so proud of the Smart Cities team led by Councillor Dita Burko and our City Manager, Tanya Abramovich. Finally, I wish you a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and all the best for 2019. Je vous souhaite à tous une joyeuse Noël, joyeuse Hanukkah, et tout le meilleur pour 2019. I'd like to end this video with a lovely singing from the St. Richard's Choir a few weeks ago when we lit the Christmas tree outside City Hall and the lighting of the Hanukkah menorah on Cavendish. So congratulations, first of all, to Darryl Levine, always putting together beautiful
Christmas tree, how lovely are your...
Thank you, Darryl. Something else that's happened very recently, that was some of the highlights. We didn't catch them all, but we tried to do what we could in 7 minutes. But something that I also am very proud of is the hard work of Councillor Burko and Councillor Sabag and staff recently concerning suggestions for improved transport around the DeCarry corridor. As we know, we've had an awful, we have a tough time today, and we are fortunate in some ways to know that the economy is booming and there's development everywhere. But at the same time, with development comes more traffic. So we need to come up with innovative ways to deal with that. So rather than me talking all about it, we can show the video which summarizes some of the proposals that the City of Côte Saint-Luc has to improve
now, with a
the situation.
different take is the Mayor of Côte Saint-Luc. Mitchell Brownstein joins me live tonight. Hi, Mitchell. So this project's dividing people. Some people are for, some people are against. Is Côte Saint-Luc for the Royal Mount project or opposed to it?
Well, we're not going to stop progress. We're not dreaming. But what we've done is we've thought out of the box, and we're dealing with the real issue, which is crossing to Carrie. There are serious problems with all the development. The Hippodrome is next. So we need to figure out ways to improve our road structure. We need Cavendish Extension, but we also need a train station on the existing line right next to Carrie Square, extend the orange line to the new REM that's being built, and just those two things alone is going to make people, move people, and help them go to all these new developments. It can't just be about cars. It has to be about everything and moving people.
But, you know, these mayors, borough mayors, very critical of the project. They want it stopped. Should that happen?
Well, if they look at their own boroughs, they'll see the development that they're doing. Every mayor, including Sue Montgomery, Alan D'Souza, all these mayors are densifying their neighborhoods, and it's all affecting the DeCarry corridor. So we need to work together, and I've put out a call to my fellow mayors, to all the developers, to work together and lobby the STM, the RTM, to improve transport. And I believe we can do it together and make the situation better, and never forget Cavendish Extension.
So you guys are kind of advocating a compromise position in a way, looking to bring people together. What are you going to be talking about tonight?
Well, tonight we have an excellent proposal. Dita Burku, Councillor Burku, and Councillor Sabag have worked very hard on this proposal, and they're going to explain all the different options that can improve the way we move people, particularly in the west of this island of Montreal. And we can see that it is the future. Thankfully, our economy is booming. Thankfully, we have all these projects. It increases our tax base for each of the boroughs and for each of the cities, and together, if we can improve transit, public transit, and car movement, then it's going to be a win-win for all. I think that's it. So I think it's really important at this time for us to continue to work towards this big problem. It's a big problem, and the city of Côte Saint-Luc is taking it very seriously. And I commend Councillor Sabag and Councillor Burku for leading on this. It's not an easy problem. I think that, yes, certain mayors like to say, stop Royal Mount, but build the Hippodrome with 8,200 units. So, you can't say it with one side of your mouth one thing and the other side something else. What we need to do is either everyone's going to stop developing, which I don't think is going to happen, or deal with the reality that the traffic on DeCarry is going to get worse and worse and worse unless we deal with Cavendish Extension, a train stop at DeCarry Square, which is already infrastructure that exists. That line goes all the way from Montreal West and doesn't stop until it hits Little Italy. Extend the orange line so it connects with the new REM, have pedestrian overpasses that connect the new DeCarry Square development with this train station and connections to the metro at Namur. The developers of Carbon-Lyon that are doing the Royal Mounts are building a pedestrian walkway that will connect with De La Savane. So if everybody works together and all this transport is created, and we remember cars, bikes, buses, shuttles, trains, and metros, the situation could improve. Will it be perfect? No, but it's intolerable now. So we'll continue our efforts to try to push that agenda, and hopefully the message will be heard by the agglomeration of Montreal. And as I said in my comments to CBC, we want to work with the borough mayors and the developers and the transport agencies to see what can be done to improve the situation. So next item on the agenda is question period, and the first person is Tamar Hertz.
Good evening. I have a question about an issue that I read about on the Côte Saint-Luc Facebook page. There was a Côte Saint-Luc senior who says that she wasn't allowed to attend a Côte Saint-Luc men's club event because the group had recently, in their newsletter, said that unless you're a member, you're no longer able to come to the weekly meetings in the winter. And the classification of a member is that you are a man. So she also said that this organization doesn't pay any rent to the city. So I was surprised to hear that, because this organization meets in a building that is currently costing the taxpayers $2 million a year. So I was shocked to hear that organizations are using our building very regularly and not paying any rent to the city. I know personally, when I used to use the municipal preschool program, when the men's club was there was absolutely no parking on the mornings that they meet there. And sometimes people have to park, 2 blocks away, which was another of the complaints that was on this chat site. I don't know if there's a solution to this that's going to make everybody happy. I don't know if maybe paying rent as an organization and renting the space would allow the men's club to operate in a way that they would like to. There are some people in our community who would like to see the men's club being changed to a seniors club. The question that I personally have, though, is, we need the city to review our policy on organizations that are receiving municipal funding, that are actively discriminating and excluding certain citizens. So this woman who lives in Côte Saint-Luc, who has paid rent into the city, who has paid her taxes into the city all her life, is excluded from an event that some other person who lives in another city that doesn't live in Côte Saint-Luc, and just by the fact that he's a man and he belongs to the Côte Saint-Luc Men's Club, is allowed to attend this event. So I feel something needs to be adjusted, because we need to make sure that our city policies reflect a 2019 standard.
Okay, so first of all, there's absolutely no discrimination, and all clubs, if you are a Filipino and you have a Filipino club, you need to be a Filipino to be a member. If you have a club for gays, then you need to be gay. If you have a women's club, you need to be a woman. A man's club, a man. If you have a club that deals with a particular religion, then you need to have that religion to join that club. So it could be your sexual orientation, your sex, your religious beliefs. There are all kinds of clubs. Your ethnicity. There's all kinds of clubs, and clubs are not discriminating when they create a club to service that particular group. So that's the first thing. The men's club is one of the gems of the city of Côte Saint-Luc, with 718 members. Out of that, we have 252 members that are not Côte Saint-Lucers, but the vast majority are Côte Saint-Lucers. And it's incredible what they've done. They provide so much in terms of services to the residents of Côte Saint-Luc and beyond, including partners when it comes to their gala dance and other events, that we could never do what they do, because they're volunteering their time, and through their executive, which is an incredible executive, their leadership's amazing, they're able to do things that we would have to spend so much money to try to do ourselves. So, if I go through the history, historically we didn't have the Aquatic and Community Center. We would rent for $90,000 a year space for our men's club, which was much smaller at the time, at the Côte Saint-Luc Shopping Center. When we built the Aquatic and Community Center, we no longer had to do that. So we used our own facility. And the revenue that we are not receiving is approximately, we've calculated to be $1,500 the total comes to $78,000 instead of $90,000, but the $90,000 was in $2,011, and that would probably be, the rent today would probably be whatever, $120 maybe. So it's costing us less now that we have our own facility in terms of the revenue that we can generate. Because we always talk about how the Aquatic and Community Center is doing. And the Aquatic Community Center is doing extremely well because we judge that based on usage, not on revenue. Just as our library has a revenue budget of $2.5 million and expenses of revenues of $175,000 and expenses of $2.5 million, with a net loss of $2.3 million, but it's a major success in the opinion of our elected officials because our library is a gem that's well used and the programs are well used. So our aquatic community center similarly is now being used for many things, one of them being the men's club. Now the men's club do things that are also altruistic, like they've donated $3,000 to the Pierre Brunet Fund. They donate to many organizations fortissimo music. They've supported the Dramatic Society. They organize many events, evening events with entertainment and movies and breakfasts. They have weekly lectures. They have painting and computers and newsletter and website and advertising. And their plan for 2019 is to do a workshop for the on drones for the camp children. They have a gala evening for the members and partners that costs about $27,000, for which they raise all the revenue, and they do it at their own expense and cover it themselves. They have educational clinics and medical, and if you look at what they do as compared to any of the other clubs, they surpass all the clubs in our city in terms of what they give back to the city of Côte Saint-Luc in terms of service that would cost us triple or quadruple fold if we had to do it ourselves. So we're in a win-win with the men's club. As to other clubs that we provide similar treatment, we do that for all our clubs, whether it's the Legion or the Garden or the Scrabble Club or the Ukulele Club. None of these clubs pay us any rent. We give them space so that they can, on their own, provide a wonderful service for the residents of the city of Côte Saint-Luc. And it's great when you have clubs with executive members that do it on their own and save us from having to hire personnel and staff to do the wonderful things that these volunteers do for the community. So we're very proud of our men's club. There's no discrimination. It's a men's club. It's very clear, M-E-N, men. And they have that right for it to be a men's club, just as every other club has the right to have the club of their choice. It's not discrimination. So that's basically the situation. Very proud of what they do, and we wish them continued success, and may they continue to provide the residents of Côte Saint-Luc and beyond good quality of life.
I don't think there's anyone who would dispute that the men's club is not doing a great job. They're doing a phenomenal job. The problem is that you can put aside the word discrimination. They are actively excluding
They're a men's club.
Côte Saint-Luc citizens. And if they were a private club, if they paid rent to us and they wanted to do whatever they wanted, I'm sure people would not have an issue because
They're a men's club. They're not excluding, excluding anybody that's not a man. That's in the charter, men. You have to join that club. You need to be a man. So of course, anybody who's not a man can't join.
What I'm asking, and what the senior women who would like to join this club, or not join the club, but attend some of the events, is that because they receive the space for free, they're acting as a quasi-government.
The women club, which is 100 members right now, and I wish them well, and we're helping them any way they can to grow, they get their space for free too.
I understand, but the women's club does not practice any kind of exclusionary policies. If a man or whoever, just like the library or just like the ukulele club, excuse me.
But the reality of this world is if you're a man and you want to have your men's club or your poker club, you can have your poker club.
Then have it. Rent a space from the city and have.
You don't need to rent it to have it. If the city treats all our clubs the same. I listed them all, including the women's club. We give them the space for free because they give back to women or men or chess players or ukulele players, depending on the type of club. So our response is, we give it to you for free because you give back so much to those people that fall within your charter.
I understand that, but this is a club that is excluding people from joining.
All the clubs exclude.
Can I finish? The women's club does not bar men from attending their events. I said, if a man is interested in attending an event at the women's club, is he allowed to do so? I was told, sure.
That's their charter, their choice.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, if we have a quasi-municipal group, it's called the City of Côte Saint-Luc's Men's Club, we are giving them the space, we are helping to fund them. What I'm asking is, does this mean that we are allowing exclusion in our city to our residents? It's a policy. I'm asking about the policy of the city, because you have women.
The policy of the city is to allow clubs of various natures based on sex, based on sexual orientation, religion, or interest. And if you don't fit in the charter of the club and it's the executive, well, that's the club's decision. And we don't interfere in that charter and telling them what type of club they should have. Because this is a men's club with a clear charter that it's for men. And I'm a man, and I can tell you that sometimes the guys like to get together without the girls. And that's why the club started. That's the way it is.
I absolutely understand that that's the way the club started 30 years ago. We're not talking about the men's club, the
Men
women's
haven't
club,
changed. We're all the same. We haven't changed.
The nature of what type of club it is doesn't matter. What we're talking about is excluding people from clubs that are funded by the city.
It's a men's club.
If a club
Anyway,
wanted to...
I think I answered already. We can go on and on and on. I think I've answered your question. Any other questions?
No, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Okay, the next person is Irving Gitman.
Where should I begin?
Start at the beginning. Start at the beginning. They always say that.
Please allow me to develop my subject as you did.
I know, I'm very tolerant. We had a nice long chat. Go ahead.
First of all, Happy New Year to one and all. And can we sing happy birthday to the mayor for tomorrow?
Okay, it's okay.
Happy.
It's okay. Thank you very much
That's
for the
behind closed doors.
Thank
How
you
we're
for
going
the
to do it
good
in front of
wishes.
this.
Thank you for the good wishes.
And
And,
Councillor, you
Councillor
know,
Lee.
some nice people are born in the winter.
Exactly.
You know?
I'll thank my mom for that. And my dad.
I took an hour to go through some of my notes. And I attended the consultation meeting last Thursday. And I tried to take down some notes, but I can't read my writing.
I'm sure it's all up there. Go ahead.
You know, there's an expression, I feel your pain. I feel your frustration. But I find that, and I'm looking at things globally, your interview on CBC, which I saw at home, was much more forceful than the presentation by the councillors and you. The presentation that was forceful and passionate was Mayor De Sousa. Because he talked about the responsibility of an elected person. And he talked about the West End of Montreal. And if you were there during his recitation, he talked about Montreal West, Côte Saint-Luc, Hampstead, and Côte-de-Neige NDG. So I found
mics don't work. Everything's off.
I found that instead of with mayors and agglomeration and the developers talking to each other, you're talking at each other. And the interesting thing is, we just saw a beautiful video. And I've been saying for all the years, Côte Saint-Luc is an amazing, amazing city. It's a progressive city. We have every imaginable activity for every imaginable age. But we have not done a thing for road systems. And I've heard it said that it's not our responsibility.
But Mr. Matt, stop you right there. I have to stop you right there. because you can only talk about the road systems within Côte Saint-Luc, because you know better than anybody else, that roads are an agglomeration and control of SDM, and we pay for the REM, even though we don't get to use the REM. We only control our roads. We don't control roads outside of our territory.
Mayor,
You know that.
please.
You know that. We can only do what we've been doing for years.
Mayor.
And that's all the mayors, before me and me. We've all been doing the same thing.
I have here from Anthony Housefather that he was talking in the Parliament about Cavendish. I said something last year that all of the stars were aligned when we had the previous Liberal government in Quebec, as well as federal, as well as the previous mayor of Montreal. But nothing is being done. So please allow me just to show you something. 29 août 2007.
I know the whole history. If we're going to talk Cavendish, I know the whole history.
No.
I'd rather give you an update on what's happening.
No. Please allow me the same amount of 10, 12 minutes.
Okay,
You know,
it's 3 minutes, you know that. I was very tolerant to...
that wasn't 3 minutes.
I know, but you are also already are at 5 or 6.
Every time I start talking, you interrupt. I don't interrupt you.
Because it's question
Please.
period. Ask me a question.
I'm leading up to it.
Okay, well, you have another minute, because it's already 6. And we're not going to have each
Well, I'll
person...
tell you
at
what,
50.
Mayor. Good luck.
Thank you.
You're very intolerant.
Thank
Happy
you.
birthday.
Thank you. Flomena Golfi. Flomena Golfi.
Philomena. That's
Philomena, welcome.
correct. Good evening. Dita Burku, Mr. Erdley, and Mayor Brownstein. I would like to know personally what the logic was behind the Glencrest detour and why, you can give me any answer you want, why we are putting over 150 school children at risk for residents on Glencrest, or perhaps on my street, Charest, or other streets in that area. But now we've increased, and we've already had accidents. And like I said in the email, public security disagrees with the detour and deviation. But we come up with every reason in the book that this makes sense. To us, the residents, it makes no sense. And the answer that I got from you, Dita, was, well, you're not going to like this answer. We'll study it later on. I've been there since 2003, and it worked very, very well before. My children grew up there. None of them got hurt. We're going to wait for an accident from the children at Merton School. So I'd like to understand the logic.
I'd like
please.
you to, thank you for coming. I'll let Councillor Burko answer because it feels more directed to her, but I do want to let you know that I have not been receiving complaints about the detour, maybe the odd one, nor from the school, but I'll let Councillor Burko.
Right. So to that point, hi Philomena. As you know, I've been a councillor for a very long time. It's 1990 with a short hiatus. But the last 2 mandates, the residents who live on Glencrest have been very insistent, okay, with petitions and requests, and then about the traffic that was being forced down Glencrest. And that's basically the problem, that when you turn over the Bailey overpass, the old configuration forced the traffic down Glencrest, and that traffic was taking Glencrest as a shortcut to Côte Saint-Luc Road. And as a result, Glencrest was getting traffic which was 3 to 4, sometimes 5 times as much as any other street. So if any other street had 200 to 300 cars, per day, or even 500 cars per day, Glencrest was like hitting 2,000. And that became a serious problem. And it became a problem to the point that we had one public consultation with all kinds of options and configurations, and everyone was around the table and open it up all the way to the post office and close it at North Luke. And so after many consultations and many studies, there was lots of discussion, lots of studies, and then there was the one consultation, there was another consultation. We first implemented the no right turn from 4 to 6. No one was happy with that. Everyone was complaining. People were getting tickets, including counselors, including their family. So we decided to do something else. We're trying this now. It's not putting the kids at risk. The mayor is absolutely correct. We haven't received any complaints. I'm not aware of any increases in accidents or anything like that on Merton. You know, the traffic is flowing down Cavendish. People are going down Cavendish. They're going all the way to Côte Saint-Luc Road. Less traffic is coming down Bailey. We're taking the counts, and we'll review it in due course.
How are you taking the counts, Dina?
We're taking the counts. The engineering department, they're not here now, but they're doing counts.
You know, you saw my email. I'm sorry, I disagree with you. First of all, people will not come forward. I'm the big voice. I come forward. Okay?
I get a lot of complaints from residents on a regular basis, and this particular issue now has been more or less accepted, okay? We'll see. I'm not saying it's final, but right now we're trying it out, and we know that we've diverted a lot of traffic off of Bailey, off of Glencrest, onto Merton and Côte Saint-Luc Road. It's going down Cavendish.
Glencrest doesn't go to Côte Saint-Luc, Dina.
No,
It deviates.
I understand, but what I'm saying is that the traffic that's coming down Cavendish is no longer going down Bailey
So
and Glencrest.
who were the people then? I'm not saying that you should tell me. Who are the people on Glencrest? What kind of clout do these people on Glencrest have versus
It's not a
people
question
aren't
of clout,
coming
it was
to
a question of
complain.
being fair, to distribute the traffic in a more
distribute it-
fair way. That's
When
what
you
we
talked
tried to
about
do.
having it go further on Bailey, that's a more even
Well,
distribution.
that would
not-
only, it's like turning on the tap. Once you turn it on all the way, you get more water, more flood.
Anyway, I
So
wanna-
it can go on and on.
I want to
but
thank you
this
for
is-
coming.
Yeah.
I want to thank you for
appreciate it.
coming, and you had the discussion with Councillor Berkeley. You can continue it. We're certainly happy to have you meet with our engineering department if you want to discuss with them also further this or any other ideas.
Do
you
we
know-
need a petition? I'd say a survey, but a survey's not going to do it. Do we need, maybe people are silent?
Listen, we're always trying to come up with
I agree
better
that we're
ideas.
going to look, we're taking counts. That's the letter that I sent, and the engineering department is doing it. So I'm not, you know, we're still reviewing it. It's not, it's not irreversible, but right now, that's the situation. It's only been in effect for, 6 months?
What's the period?
Okay, well, right now, I'm waiting for our engineering department to come back to us with the counts and to see what the results are so far.
Do we have a time?
No, I don't. Honestly, I really don't. I'm trying to be reasonable, but I don't want to give you a time frame. I can't because it doesn't just depend on me.
But thanks for bringing this to our attention. We'll appreciate that you're here.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we're going to go on to the next item on the agenda, which is approval of the minutes. Councillor Benizri, moved by Councillor Benizri, seconded by Councillor Burku. All in favor? Carried unanimously. That's for the minutes of December the 10th, 17th, special meeting of the 17th at 6 o'clock at 6:30, and the meeting of December 19th at 6:30. Any business arising from the minutes? Departmental reports, moved by Councillor Kovac, seconded by Councillor Sabag. Any discussion? Councillor Cohen.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, a couple of notes I'd like to share. I had a focus group 2 weeks ago with Councillor Torchman as the traffic committee chair regarding the stop sign that we implemented on Rembrandt Avenue corner of Côte Saint-Luc
Push your
Road.
button. Push the button.
Oh, apologize.
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I'll repeat that. I had a focus group meeting 2 weeks ago at City Hall with residents of Rembrandt, representation from Elan Ramon, Sir Walter Scott, Mary Mack, and Mark Chagall. We implemented the stop sign in September on Rembrandt. For many years, residents of Rembrandt, hundreds of them, were pretty much hostage at that corner, not being able to make a left, especially during rush hour. So we put that in really on a trial basis, and we're going to watch it very closely. It's been very, very warmly received by people on Rembrandt, and I really haven't received too many complaints, but there are a few people not living on Rembrandt who find it to be an inconvenience, a little bit slower to get down to Kildare and make the turn. I take that road every single day. I'm prepared to lose 3 or 4 minutes of my morning or my afternoon for the good of people on Rembrandt who deserve this type of opportunity. But the door's open. We're going to discuss it. Our traffic committee is going to study it some more, and we'll see whether there'll be any further changes. As well, I'd like to thank our urban development department. They've been working overtime, as well as our city manager, Tanya Abramovich, and our co-city manager, Jonathan Schechter. I want to thank them all for their great assistance with the Equinox, and Mayor Brownstein, of course. The Equinox right now has a generator that's generating a lot of noise, and it's keeping people up in the Rothschild building facing the Equinox. There have been a lot of efforts made to fix the noise, and I'm hoping that we're going to come to a resolution soon, but I want to thank our staff because they spent a lot of time on that last week. So thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Cohn. Councillor Burku.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to report that,
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to report that in 2018, we actually experienced the highest volume of permits issued in the history of Côte Saint-Luc, 462 permits in urban planning. For reference, this number is simply the quantity of permits issued, therefore includes projects of all different scales, from high-rise towers to people redoing their balconies. What this does indicate is that Côte Saint-Luc residents and landowners are investing in Côte Saint-Luc. They want to maintain, upgrade, and build new structures on their properties, which in turn means people are happy here and enjoying life in the city. It was a challenging year for the department, and we look forward to yet another busy year in Côte Saint-Luc in urban planning. Thank you.
Councillor Erdely.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just want to update a few items on the finance side. So first, obviously the budget was ratified in December. The finance department is in the process of finalizing all the tax bills, which will be going out in the next week or so, or within the next week, I should say. The due dates, to remind residents, are February 27th for the first installment and May 28th for the second installment. Something new that we'll be sharing more information about in the next few weeks is that residents can access their tax bills online. So if you're interested, you can access it online. Our director, Darryl Levine, of Director of Communication, is preparing a video that will be going out shortly that'll explain to residents how to do it. I have been testing it out. It's relatively simple, and you'll be hearing more information. And you can, starting next year, so this year you'll still get your tax bill on paper, but starting next year you'll have the option of only receiving the tax bill online if you so choose to do that. And hopefully that'll save some paper, and it'll make it more efficient. And a few other points I want to share that with regard to tempos, we're up to 98 tempos, or 98 permits for tempos that were issued by the end of December, possibly a few more, but I don't know, at this point it might be too late to put up a tempo now that we had some snow. And just to share on a local District 4 item, the skating rink is up and running. I had the chance to visit it a few times since the beginning of this year, the beginning of January, and it's looking nice. People are using it, and of course we hope people continue to use it, and hopefully once the snow removal operations are done, they'll clear all the snow off the ice as well, so people can be skating, continue skating there as much as they want to. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Erdely. Councillor Sabag.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's not too late to put up a tempo, by the way. The V-Cops just got their tempos up.
Yes, it's
recently.
beautiful.
They asked for it, they got it. Just a couple of updates on the month of December. We just honored some firefighters that showed what courage and communication can do in the state of emergency. We did get some highlights of what we call an emergency as well in Côte Saint-Luc with the Eldridge water main break. That also made some news, and we've seen public security, public works, V-Cops, urban planning, everybody working together, going door knocking, making sure everybody has water, making sure the communication is done properly as well. So that's again something that I am very proud of, in the public should be aware that our services work extremely hard in a state of emergency as well sometimes. with that, December comes with some holiday parties as well. So the VCOP had their holiday party on December 11th, which was well attended at the ACC, followed by the EMS and dispatch and public security, parties as well. Luis Oliveira, our new commander, also welcomed 3 communities with a roundtable discussion to see how the communities can work together with the SPVM, making sure that they're aware of all of their needs and everything around what the SPVM does in certain communities. I also wanted to, I think that's about it, really. I wanted to say something and I just forgot.
Well, if you remember, you'll be able to say it
Yeah.
afterwards, no problem. Anybody else? Councillor,
What did I say?
Councillor Kovac.
Oh, VCOP coffee on Thursday with the SPVM, that's correct. But that wasn't it, that wasn't it.
Councillor Kovac.
Yeah.
Well, the aquatic center and, the aquatic center and the arena and all aspects of recreation are, as usual, extraordinarily busy, and I won't go into all of that. But we did say goodbye to a longtime employee, I believe it was close to 45 years, to Harold Cammie, and he was honored, he was mentioned, he was feted in the news, the radio, television, media. I mean, for retirement, I've never seen that, but really he was a most wonderful gentleman that I've worked with since before I became a councillor, when I was a volunteer in EMS, and he was in recreation, and in those days, just an outstanding employee and really a team player, and brought a lot to the community. So we said goodbye to him, but with a big smile, and we welcome him back to every occasion.
Yeah. Yeah, that was special. Harold Cammie always had a certain attitude that he wanted to be kind to people and bring happiness to the community, and he leaves the Parks and Recreation Department with that philosophy. My mom even said when I was a kid and I wanted to go for swimming lessons, Parks and Recreation had like 3 employees, and one of them was Harold Cammie, so he made sure I got registered and became a lifeguard. Sydney Benisri, Councillor Benisri.
Merci, Monsieur le maire. J'aimerais juste, au niveau des travaux publics, vraiment remercier toutes les équipes qui sont à l'extérieur, qui ont travaillé au déneigement de notre ville ces derniers, je dirais, à peu près 30 heures, et qui continuent à le faire. They're doing a very great job to make sure that all our street and road are clean, so we can, we can walk and drive safely. So thank you to all our teams in Public Works.
Thank you. Councillor Kajavsky.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just 3 things. I'll be very brief. I'll go in order of age, starting with the youngest. So this coming Saturday, we have, I believe, our 2nd production for children, Côte Saint-Luc Dramatic Society. We're putting on Geordie Theatre's Little Witch. So tickets are available online. Go to csldramaticsociety.com. Joel, I hope you're listening. So in order of age, now we'll go a little bit older. We had our first meeting of the Youth Advisory Group that is being managed by the library. So we have 10 members of this youth group. I believe it's been done in the past where we've engaged the youth of the community. But we're doing it officially now. We have our committee in place. We're very excited about it. We're excited to consult with teens because it's kind of a segment of our community that seems to be kind of forgotten about. We look after the kids, we look after the young families, the seniors, and we forget about the teens sometimes. So it's great now they have a say. And we had a very active meeting, a really good group of kids. Once the ice was broken, it was a very active conversation. I guess now, seniors. Okay, so now I'm going in order. We have our Smart Cities Challenge site visit this coming Thursday. We have Jenny Bouchard and Kathleen Bouchard and Jenny Tremblay are coming from Ottawa. The 2 people basically in charge of the Smart Cities Challenge. They're coming for a tour of our city to meet our entire team, and we're very excited about this upcoming visit and show them the status of our project. Thank you,
Sounds
Mr.
good.
Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Kajavsky. Anyone else? Okay. So moved and seconded. All in favor? All in favor? Carried unanimously. Item number 5, Financial Services, 5A. Councillor Kajavsky.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Please hold.
information announcement. Councillor Erdely advises me that most of District 3 has got a power outage. So, Philomena, you're welcome to stay. At least we have power here.
And most,
I wonder if we're
and
out
part of
also.
District 1 as well has no power.
Okay, Councillor Erdely?
My wife didn't text me.
I mean, Councillor Kajowski, go ahead.
Page 180 of the digital version, 2521, yes? Bylaw 2521, yes?
2521.
Be it
Nice.
resolved that bylaw 2521, entitled Bylaw 2521, authorizing a loan of $866,000 for the resurfacing of various roads and sidewalk repairs at various locations belonging to the City of Côte Saint-Luc, be and is hereby adopted.
Moved by Councillor Kajowski, seconded by Councillor Erdely. Any discussion?
Maybe just to add
Yes,
that
please.
at this point, the streets that are scheduled to be done are Emerson and Smart from Mackle up to the curve to Mather, sort of connecting to Wolseley.
Moved and seconded. All in favor? Carried unanimously. Councillor Burke was out of the room, but carried unanimously. Item 5B, Councillor Kajowski.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Be it resolved that Bylaw 2522, entitled Bylaw 2522, authorizing a loan of $137,000 to finance the cost, including professional fees, to repair the underpass located on Côte Saint-Luc Road, lot number P1054612, be and is hereby adopted.
Moved by Councillor Kajowski, seconded by Councillor Erdely. Any discussion? Councillor Erdely.
Just if I may add, so this is for work on the concrete of the the Côte Saint-Luc underpass. As you know, we've redone the Westminster underpass, I guess about 3 years ago, the Cavendish underpass about a year or two ago, and this is the next phase. So this is for professional services with the hope that the work will be done next year. And because this underpass is partly in Montreal, partly in Côte Saint-Luc, the plan is for the project to be shared and the cost to be shared between the two cities.
Moved and seconded. All in favor? Carried unanimously. And we move to item C, which is Bylaw 2523. Councillor Erdely.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Be it resolved that Bylaw 2523, entitled Bylaw 2523, authorizing a loan of $1,523,000 for the purchase and installation of various traffic lights and LED streetlights at various locations, including professional services in the territory of the City of Côte Saint-Luc, be and is hereby adopted.
Moved by Councillor Erdely, seconded by Councillor Burku. Any discussion?
So just to explain briefly, the majority of this is for LED lights for the City of Côte Saint-Luc. Right now in Côte Saint-Luc, there are LED lights only in the new section where the part of the Cavendish Mall existed. The plan is over the next few years to replace all the street lights, both the Cobra heads and the cubes. We're looking at different plans, so it'll be for professional services and the implementation. It's also for some new traffic light intersections that will be going up, for example, on Haywood, reconfiguring some of the existing traffic lights or reworking some of the existing traffic lights, and also repair and replacement of some of the older streetlight poles, which over time have aged, and some of which have been replaced, and some will be replaced in the next year or two.
Moved and seconded. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Carried unanimously. We move to the next item, Article Bylaw 2524. Councillor Kajowski.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Be it resolved that Bylaw 2524, entitled Bylaw 2524, authorizing a loan of $2,675,000 for various facility upgrades at Kerwin Park, be and is hereby adopted.
Moved by Councillor Kajowski, seconded by Councillor Kovac. Any discussion?
Well, it kind of speaks for itself. This is the loan required to complete the professional services and capital renovations coming up to Kerwin Park this coming summer, beginning in, as soon as the thaw occurs.
So moved and seconded. All in favor? Councillor Burko. Carried unanimously. And Councillor Kovac. And now we move to the next bylaw, 2525. Councillor Ben-Isri.
Merci, Monsieur le maire. Est résolu que le règlement 2525 intitulé Règlement 2525 autorisant un emprunt de $263 000 pour l'achat et l'installation d'un dôme de garage situé au 7001 chemin Malcolm, soit et par la présente adoptée.
Merci, Monsieur conseiller Benizri. Proposé par le conseiller Benizri, appuyé par le conseiller Kovac. Est-ce qu'il y a des discussions? Okay, moved and seconded. All in favor? Carried unanimously. And now we move to 2526. Councillor Benizri.
Merci, Monsieur le maire. Et règlement 25, excusez-moi. Est résolu que le règlement 2526 intitulé « Règlement 2526 autorisant un emprunt de 700 000 $ pour l'achat de véhicules et d'équipements soit et est par la présente adopté. »
Proposé par le conseiller Benizri, appuyé par le conseiller Erdely.
Oh.
Est-ce qu'il y a des discussions?
So just,
Councillor Erdely?
I'll mention briefly some of the vehicles. So this is for a pickup truck replacing a 2007 vehicle, a cargo van replacing a 2004 vehicle, for 2 new public security vehicles, an EMS ambulance, a tree trunk grinder, actually, unless that's part of the equipment, and a small tractor, replacing a 2006 vehicle. Thank you.
Okay, moved and seconded. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Carried unanimously. And now we move on to 2527. Councillor Benizri.
Merci, Monsieur le maire. Est résolu que le règlement 2527 intitulé « Règlement 2527 autorisant un emprunt de 221 000 $ pour l'achat de véhicules lourds et d'équipements de véhicules lourds soit et est par la présente adopté. »
Appuyé par le conseiller Erdely. Est-ce qu'il y a des discussions?
So just to add, this is for a heavy vehicle, so this is a 10-wheeler dump truck, or roughly 10-ton vehicle.
Okay, moved and seconded. All in favor?
Season and for road salt as well.
Moved and seconded. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Carried unanimously. We move to item number 6, Human Resources. 6A, Councillor Kovac.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Be it resolved that the Côte Saint-Luc City Council approves the appointment of Vanessa Patrizzi and Brandon Amaral as Côte Saint-Luc Aquatics competitive lessons coaches into management positions for fixed-term contracts as stipulated on the attached list entitled Appointment of Coaches Management Fixed-Term Contracts, and that the Treasurer's Certificate Number 19-0017 dated January the 14th, 2019 has been issued by the City Treasurer attesting to availability of funds to cover the described expenses.
Moved by Councillor Kovac, seconded by Councillor Erdely. Councillor Erdely. Any discussion? Okay, so it's just the hire for the aquatic competitive coaches. Moved and seconded, all in favor? Anyone opposed? Carried unanimously. And now we move to 6B, Councillor Kovac.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Be it resolved that the Côte Saint-Luc City Council approves the appointment of Alexandra Nowakowski and Kyla Rollinson as Côte Saint-Luc Aquatics triathlon coaches into management positions for fixed-term contracts as stipulated on the attached list entitled Appointment of Coaches Management Fixed-Term Contracts, that the Treasurer's Certificate Number 19-0017 dated January the 14th, 2019 has been issued by the City Treasurer attesting to the availability of funds to cover the described expenses.
Moved by Councillor Kovac, seconded by Councillor Erdely. Any discussion? Moved and seconded, all in favor? Councillor Kovac? Anyone against? Carried unanimously. 6C, Councillor Kovac.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Be it resolved that the Côte Saint-Luc City Council approves the appointment of Linda Babbins as a Côte Saint-Luc Aquatics youth swim team coach into a management position for a fixed-term contract as stipulated on the attached list entitled Appointment of Coaches Management Fixed-Term Contracts, and that the Treasurer's Certificate 19-0017 dated January the 14th, 2019 has been issued by the City Treasurer attesting to availability of funds to cover the described expenses.
Moved by Councillor Kovac, seconded by Councillor Erdely. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Carried unanimously.
You might want to know.
What?
There's, the parking lot is pitch black or ungenerated, the librarian said,
Yeah, just
ungenerated.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
No, Pat, we know.
Municipal government. Municipal government, we continue. We keep on going, no matter what. We just go. As long as there's no disaster, everybody's safe, we'll just keep on going. Okay. 6D. So did we do that one? Moved and seconded, all in favor?
6D.
Okay, but 6D now. Councillor, did we voted on C, right?
Yes.
Okay. Councillor Sabag.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Be it resolved that the City of Côte Saint-Luc Council approves the appointment of Jean-Marc Dubois as a Division Chief of Public Security and VCOP for a fixed-term contract effective from January 7th, 2019 to January 10th, 2020. That Treasurer Certificate Number 19-0013 dated January 14th, 2019 has been issued by the City Treasurer attesting to the availability of funds to cover the above described expense.
Moved by Councillor Sabag, seconded by Councillor Kajavsky. Still there.
Okay.
Councillor Kajavsky. Any discussion?
Yes, can I just say a
Yes,
couple
go ahead.
words? So this is a position that was created, and we've been trying to look for the appropriate person to fill that position. This person will be essentially the Division Chief for Public Security and VCOP. He'll be reporting directly to Director Ryson. Luckily, the VCOPs already know his name. They worked with him because he's a dispatcher, or was a dispatcher for our for our city, essentially. So if you hear him, you'll know that he has a very theatrical voice, and a lot of the VCOPs. So I'm glad the VCOPs are liking him, and he started last week, and it's going well. It's a great hire.
Thank you. Moved and seconded. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Carried unanimously. We move to item 6E. Councillor Burku.
Dahlia.
that the council hereby approves the appointment of Dalia Mohammed as the project manager in the Urban Development Department effective December 10th, 2018, that the treasurer's certificate number 19-0014 dated January 14th, 2019 has been issued by the city treasurer attesting to the availability of funds to cover the above described expenses.
Moved by Councillor Burku, seconded by Councillor Kovac. Any discussion?
Well, this is, as it says, to approve the appointment of Dalia as the project manager in the Urban Planning Department. She's very efficient, effective, and cordial, and very happy that she's been appointed to this permanent position. Thank you.
Okay, so moved and seconded, all in favor? Anyone opposed? Carried unanimously. Item G, 6G, Councillor Burku.
Thank you. Be it resolved that Côte Saint-Luc Council approves the hiring of Pierre Lemay as an auxiliary building inspector, white-collar position in the Urban Development Department effective January 14th, 2019, that the treasurer's certificate number 19-0015 dated January 14th, 2019 has been issued by the city treasurer attesting to the availability of funds to cover the above described expenses.
Moved by Councillor Burku, seconded by Councillor Kovac. Any discussion?
So this is a position that we are hiring for auxiliary building inspector, and we hope that Mr. Lemay will be well integrated into the department, and we look forward to his coming on board.
Thank you, Councillor Burku. Moved and seconded, all in favor? Carried unanimously. And now we move to item H, Councillor Cohen.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I so move that Côte Saint-Luc City Council approves the status change of Steve Lemieux's position as the Information Technology Manager from Contract Management.
H, yeah.
We didn't do Stephen yet. We have to do G first.
Didn't we do G?
No.
Okay, let's do G. Councillor Burku.
Okay. I still will approve Steve Lemieux.
We'll get to him.
G.
We didn't do Jason? Let's do Jason, and then we can introduce him. Go ahead. See, we're skipping over there. Just want to see if he was watching.
Hi, Jason.
He's the guy in the back.
I know.
It was like
Soon he's going to be in the front.
April Fool's joke.
The City Council approves the hiring of Jason Prévost as the Assistant City Clerk into the management position for a fixed-term contract effective January 14, 2019 to January 10, 2020. That Treasurer's Certificate number 19-0025 dated January 15, 2019 has been issued by the City Treasurer, attesting to the availability of funds to cover the above described expenses.
Moved by Councillor Burku, seconded by Councillor Kovac. Any discussion?
Well, Jason is here, and he's sitting in the back today, but next meeting he's going to be sitting right up front along with us as the Assistant City Clerk, taking minutes and assisting Jonathan Schechter in his duties. Thank you.
Welcome to the city. Item H, Councillor, moved and seconded, all in favor? Carried unanimously. And now we move to item H, Councillor Cohen.
Yes, once again, I so move that the Côte Saint-Luc City Council approves the status change of Steve Lemieux's position as the Information Technology Manager from contract management to permanent management effective December 10th, 2018.
Moved by Councillor Cohen, seconded by Councillor Kovac. Any discussion? All in favor? Anyone opposed? Carried unanimously. And now we move to public safety, item 7A, Councillor Sabag. Yeah, there's only one item.
So I'm going to say this one in French.
Okay.
Est résolu que la ville de Côte Saint-Luc présente une demande d'aide financière à l'agence municipale 911 du Québec au montant à ne pas dépasser 4 500 $ dans le cadre du volet 1 du programme mentionné au préambule et s'engage à en respecter les conditions du programme. Que le Conseil autorise son directeur général adjoint, conseiller général et ou le directeur de la protection civile assigné pour et en son nom le formulaire de demande d'aide financière et atteste que les renseignements qui contient sont exacts. I'm going to add one more. Que la est résolu que la municipalité présente
une demande d'aide financière à l'Agence municipale d'infirmière du Québec au montant à ne pas dépasser 10 000 $ dans le cadre du volet 2 du programme mentionné au préambule et s'engage à respecter les conditions du programme. Le Conseil autorise son directeur général adjoint, conseiller général ou le directeur de la protection civile à signer pour et en son nom le formulaire de demande d'aide financière et atteste que les renseignements qu'il contient sont exacts.
Proposé par le conseiller Sebag, appuyé par le conseiller Kovac. Est-ce qu'il y a des discussions? Go ahead, Councilor
This
Sebag.
is simply to allow the director to apply for a subsidy of around between $4,500 and $10,000 to invest in emergency preparedness. So 911 agency the government is officially giving us the opportunity to apply, and this gives them the authorization to sign off on that application.
Moved and seconded, all in favor? Anyone opposed? Carried unanimously. We move to item 8A, Public Works. Le conseiller Benizri.
Merci, Monsieur le maire. Est résolu que le Conseil de la ville de Côte Saint-Luc, Conseil, déclare par la présente la soumission de les services Ricova Inc. non conformes du point de vue documentaire. Par conséquent, cette soumission est rejetée. Que conformément aux modalités de l'appel d'offres numéro C-01-19-24, le Conseil octroie par la présente un contrat à Environnement routier NRJ Inc., le plus bas soumissionnaire conforme pour la période du 1er avril 2019 au 31 mars 2020 pour un montant total de $331 734,42 plus les taxes applicables. Que la Ville réserve ses droits à l'égard des 4 années d'option du contrat. Que le certificat du trésorier numéro TC 19-0022, daté du 15 janvier 2019, a été émis attestant de la disponibilité des fonds pour couvrir les dépenses décrites pour la portion 2019 du contrat. Qu'un deuxième certificat du trésorier sera émis en janvier 2020 pour attester de la disponibilité des fonds pour couvrir les dépenses décrites pour la portion 2020 du contrat.
Proposé par le conseiller Benizri, appuyé par le conseiller Erdely. Est-ce qu'il y a des discussions?
C'est juste pour mentionner que c'est pour la collecte des matières recyclables.
Okay.
Pour un contrat, voilà.
Moved and seconded, all in favor? Councilor Cohen. Anyone against? Carried unanimously, and now we move on to 8B. Councilor Erdely.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Be it resolved that the City Council ratifies the purchase of fuel for its fleet of vehicles during the 2018 year pursuant to the group tenders organized by the City of Montreal and STM as follows. Unleaded fuel from Énergie Valero in the total amount of $150,391 plus applicable taxes. Clear diesel from Le Pétrole Parkland in the total amount of $165,426. That the City Council hereby renews the contracts previously awarded under the Montreal Group Tender number 15-14232 for an additional term of 1 year, namely from January 4th, 2019 to January 3rd, 2020 as follows. With Énergie Valero for the purchase of regular unleaded fuel for an estimated amount of $120,000 plus applicable taxes. With Pepco Energy Corporation for the purchase of color diesel for an estimated amount of $3,000 plus tax, and that the City Council hereby approves in advance the purchase of clear diesel for the 2019 year from Le Pétrole Parkland for an estimated amount of $134,173 plus applicable taxes pursuant to the group tender organized by STM. That should the city's actual consumption during the contract term exceed the above estimated amounts, the excess shall be approved in accordance with the city's change order procedures and delegated authority bylaw, and that Treasurer's Certificate number TC 19-0027, dated January 16, 2019, has been issued by the Manager of Financial Operations, attesting to the availability of funds to cover the described expenses.
Moved by Councilor Erdely, seconded by Councilor Kovac. Any discussion?
So just to explain briefly, many years ago, Côte Saint-Luc used to go on its own and purchasing fuel for its vehicles. In 2016, we joined with the, actually I think even before, but 2016 we joined this recent group tender resolution. So this is a renewal of that, so it is covering again regular, let's say unleaded regular diesel and what they call colored diesel, which is used by only a small vehicles. I believe it's used by some of the tractors in the city's fleet. That's a relatively small amount. And by doing it through this group purchase, we maximize, of course, on the cost and the savings. And I should also mention that one of the things that the Côte Saint-Luc Audit Committee does is we review the fuel purchases every month to see, to make sure that they match with what makes sense with regard to, for example, the weather, snow removal, and so on. So it's one of the things that we've been very much on top of, and we're continuing to monitor that and make sure there's measures so that the fuel is used to its fullest potential.
Thank you, Councillor Erdely. Moved and seconded. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Carried unanimously. Now we move to item number 8C. Councillor Benizri.
Merci, Monsieur le maire. Est résolu que le conseil municipal de Côte Saint-Luc, par la présente, octroie un contrat pour l'achat de fleurs annuelles pour l'année 2019 à l'Esser YG Pinsonneau Inc. pour une somme n'excédant pas 42 520,29 $, plus les taxes applicables. Que le certificat du trésorier numéro TC 19-0021 a été émis le 15 janvier 2019 par le responsable des opérations financières, attestant la disponibilité des fonds pour couvrir les dépenses décrites.
Moved by Councillor Benizri, seconded by Councillor Kovac. Any discussion?
This is to buy our annual flowers for summer 2019.
Moved and seconded. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Carried unanimously.
If I may add, Mr. Mayor?
Go ahead.
Just the latest from the Hydro website. So it's the power outage is affecting much of District 3, part of District 8, part of District 2, part of District 1. It's saying that equipment failure and that it should be restored by 10 p.m. There's different ones, 10 p.m., 11:30, but it should be restored in the next hour or two. Thank you.
Can we get the feed for, or it doesn't work? No, but I know, but for urban planning, for PAC. I mean, it's not absolutely necessary, but it's helpful. Okay, let's go.
Okay, moved and seconded. I said everyone in favor? All in favor of the flowers? All in favor of the flowers?
Flowers?
Councillor Collin? Yes. Carried unanimously, and now we forms. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Carried unanimously. We move to urban development, urban planning. Councillor Burku. Councillor Kovac, 5800 Cavendish.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Unfortunately, the system isn't working because of the power failure. Be it resolved that in accordance with the provisions of bylaw G18-0005, the request for a minor exemption regarding the property located at 5800 Cavendish, lots 4559835, 4596046, 4596048, and 5615461 be and is hereby approved, The whole is more amply delineated thereunder. The request is in order to allow the TD Bank to have a wall installation of A, 2 illuminated signs facing Cavendish Boulevard instead of the maximum of 1 sign per street on a corner lot, and B, 1 illuminated sign above the proposed new entrance to the bank with a proposed area of 30 square feet instead of the maximum permitted area of 20 square feet. The whole with notwithstanding the provisions of bylaw number 2217, Article 9-2A and 9-3-2. And basically what this is, I mean, it's very difficult to show the public what it is. There's going to be a new entrance to the Toronto Dominion Bank. You're welcome to come and take a look at it if you need to. And they've asked for a change of their signage, and it really just reflects the same thing that the bank on the corner, Scotia Bank, has the same thing. So we're granting them the exact same thing that the Scotia Bank has. And if you want to come and take a look at it, I'll leave the photograph of it here. Mine is working.
Okay.
Okay?
Moved by Councillor Kovac, seconded by Councillor Cohen. Any further discussion?
Yes, Mr. Mayor?
Councillor Burku.
Yes, so here's a very good example of what it means when two people say the exact same thing does not mean the exact same thing.
There it is.
So Scotiabank has one entrance facing the Cavendish parking lot, not the avenue. And now TD is going to have one entrance facing the parking lot, and in the middle wall, they're going to have another sign. So they have 2 facades and 2 signs, where Scotiabank only really has 1. And I don't think it's the same thing, and I don't think it's fair. And even though I'm the chair of PAC, I'm voting against this because I don't think it's fair or proportionate to what the Scotiabank has. It's a minor exemption, but I just don't think it's fair. I think, to be fair, we should have had TD on one side, Scotia on the other, and a blank wall in the middle, and not given TD the advantage of the middle. But I was overruled by the majority of council, so that's my input. I'm voting against it.
Thank you, Councillor Burku. Any other discussion? Moved and seconded. All in favor? All in favor? Anyone opposed? Anyone opposed? Passed with the Councillor Burku dissenting. Item 9B, Councillor Burku, 9B, it's yours.
Same thing, 2 walls.
9B.
Yeah, mine B, 9B. I'm on 9B. Okay. This is a duplex on Kildare. So I'm going to read it in English. Then in accordance with the provisions of bylaw G 18-0005, the request for a minor exemption regarding the property located at 7024, 7026 Kildare, lot 1053709, be and is hereby approved. The whole is more amply delineated hereunder. The request is in order to allow for an existing 2-family semi-detached dwelling to have existing interior parking spaces for 2 cars only instead of a minimum required amount of interior parking spaces of 4 cars when a separated dwelling unit located at the basement level is counted as an entire story in determining the class of use of the building. The whole notwithstanding the provisions of zoning bylaw 2217, Article 4-8C.
Thank you, Councillor Burku.
So
Seconded. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so basically what this is, it's the exemption is to allow basement suite to be added without having to add another 2 extra parking spaces.
Moved by Councillor Burku, seconded by Councillor Benizri. Any other discussion? All in favor? Anyone opposed? Carried unanimously. We move on to item 10, Councillor Kovac.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Be it resolved that the council takes the following stance in view of any agglomeration council meetings to be held in February 2019 as follows: to authorize the mayor or his duly authorized replacement to make any decisions he deems necessary and in the best interest of the city of Côte Saint-Luc and its residents regarding the items on the agenda of the agglomeration council meetings to be held in February 2019 based on the information to be presented during those meetings.
Moved by Councillor Kovac, seconded by Councillor Sabag. Any discussion? All in favor? Anyone opposed? Carried unanimously. And we go to other business. Second question period. Any questions? Move for adjournment. Councillor Kovac, seconded by Councillor Kajewski. All in favor? All in favor of adjournment? Councillor Cohen? We're adjourned. Thank you.